so grateful for the opportunity because I'm very passionate about what I talk about, the work that I'm doing. And today I want to start with a question. And I just want you to think about this for a minute. Do you love yourself? Could you look in the mirror and say, I love you? And that can be very, very hard for some people. And I want you to be honest with yourself because everything that you require, desire, and deserve is going to start with you. Now, my journey started with a very ugly divorce, and it was very painful. I got to a point where I was so immersed in sadness, grief, anger, every emotion you could think of that was negative was going on inside my body. And what happened is I started getting sick. I started losing my hair and I started scratching my skin until I bled. And it was really starting to scare me. And I knew I had to do something. And I can tell you that I had never even thought about loving myself. And it's interesting because I loved my children. At the time, I loved my ex-husband, my parents. I even loved my dog. But that was a question I had never thought of and I never asked myself. And when I started getting sick, I thought I have to do something. I have to do something quick or I'm really going to be in trouble. And so I just started reading and started absorbing how to bring myself out of this situation, how to look at myself honestly, how to assimilate everything. And what I want to do today is just share a few things with you. There's three things, very simple things as I reflect back that I started doing to help myself. And I'm going to give a shout out to everyone because I'm using this as well today. And the first thing for me was self-care. I knew I had to start taking care of myself. You know, I wasn't eating properly. I was doing everything just on autopilot. It was like muscle memory. I had two girls, younger girls at the time, and there were ball games and there were dance recitals, and I did everything on autopilot. And as I look back, I don't even really remember some of the things. So I started this self-care routine. And what I want to tell you, one thing to remember, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish because if you're pouring from an empty cup, you're not helping anyone and you're really not helping yourself. So that's really important to understand. Sometimes we get a lot of feedback from people. Oh, well, you're very selfish. You're only thinking of yourself. Well, sometimes we have to think of ourselves because other people are depending on us to be there for them, like my children. And I knew to take care of them, I had to start taking care of myself. So I'm going to ask the question, are you creating loving habits for yourself? Now, this is about you. This is not about what a friend thinks you should do, what your mom thinks you should do. It's not worthy of feedback really, because this is about you. So what loving habits are you creating just for you? Is it a cup of tea? Is it a bath? Is it a walk? Or is it merely just sitting in your silence and letting all your feelings come, figuring out what they mean, or just getting messages from your guides? Now, another thing is prioritizing your physical, mental, and emotional health. Those are really, really, really important. For me, my mental health had slipped and I needed to get a grasp on it. And I knew I needed it back. And so some of the things at the time, they didn't seem as simple, but as I reflect back and look, it was my state of mind that was blocking me. And some of those things can be as simple as getting enough sleep. Are you eating nutritious food? Are you taking care of yourself just in terms of maybe alone time? Whatever it is you need, that's what you have to do for yourself. One of the things I started doing that was really, really important is I taught myself how to meditate. And meditation was huge for me because at first it was like I would lay down for about 2 minutes and my mind would just chatter, chatter, chatter. And we call it monkey mind. And it's just a mind that you cannot stop. And it took a while, but what I learned was just, I got to that 2 minute mark. I'm like, I can do this. I need this and I can do this. And I just did it over and over and over. And to this day, even this morning before I started this, I went into my meditation. It can be 5 minutes, it can be an hour, whatever works for you. What I'm talking about today is about you, about it starting with you. And another thing I want to talk about is what hobbies do you have? What are you doing to bring you joy? Bringing joy back into your life is so important. For me, I love to paddleboard. Now, everybody kind of, oh, you're too old to paddleboard. It's like, no, this makes me happy. If I just have to sit on my knees and paddle through water, I'm going to do it. So don't let any outsiders or people that don't know you or people that think they know you better than you know yourself, don't let them get into your space. Don't let them get into your space. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. I'm going to talk about boundaries. And these are particularly important because this is you saving yourself. And personal boundaries are really there to protect you. And I was always that mom or that person that no matter what people asked of me, it was a yes. Whether I could really do it, whether I wanted to do it, I felt guilty if I didn't say yes. So yes was my go-to. And then I started thinking, this isn't what I want to do. Why do I keep doing it to myself? And then it dawned on me, no is a complete sentence. And I don't have to tell anybody why I don't want to do it. It's not working for me now. I'm just giving you a straight no. I lost a few people that way, but what I realized is they were using me for their agenda. I was their friend if they needed me, and I would say yes. So when I started thinking about that, I thought to myself, is that really a loss? It's really not. It's really not. And that's one way to bring self-love back to yourself is doing what you feel you need to do and doing it for you. And you might also want to think about other relationships. And you might want to think about, are they hindering you or are they helping you? Are they draining your energy? Are they keeping you fulfilled? Because I've had some relationships in the past just with girlfriends, and it was one of those things where I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to meet with this person. And it got to the point where I thought, this is not making me happy. So you have to do this for yourself as well. Just release and surrender. And once again, I want you to remember no is a complete sentence. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is what to me was one of the most important things, is positive self-talk. Because one of the things I want you to remember is as within, so without. What are you telling yourself? What are you saying to yourself? How are you treating yourself? Even if you're the only one hearing it and you keep repeating it over and over and over, it is going to lodge in your cellular memory, and then it becomes part of your subconscious. When it becomes part of your subconscious, this is something that's going to take over, and you're not even going to realize it. And honestly, when I talk about this, I'm going to give you an example with my dad. And my dad is 84 years old. I see him about 2 times a month, every other weekend. I live close enough to do that. And I'll be sitting on the couch enjoying my tea. And at 84 years old, he'll be in the kitchen and I can hear him if he maybe spilt something or dropped something. He'll say, David, you're so stupid. He's very self-depreciating. And this just breaks my heart. And I'll always tell him, Dad, if no one is kind to you, be kind to yourself. Because what you're doing is, as we know, everything we speak just starts coming to us more and more and more. And I'm trying to get that across to him, but there's not one person deserving of self-depreciating talk. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. And so when you are doing something that is considered a weakness, what did you learn from it? What has that taught you? You need to reframe that as not stupid or foolish, but as a lesson to be learned that can take you into something that you can do really, really well. And I want you to start in your self-talk with being loving and compassionate to yourself. You deserve it. We often extend it to others, extend it to our children, to our parents, to our loved ones, but we're really, really hard on ourselves. we are so judgmental of us. And I can honestly tell you, this does not serve you. This did not serve me. And what I learned with being compassionate with myself, even if it was something like you did your best, it might not have been perfect, but I did my best at that time with the knowledge that I had. And so I just say to myself, you did it. It was heartfelt. Can you do it better? Yes, just learn from it and move on and do it better next time. That's all anybody can ask of you. Kindness and forgiveness towards yourself is so important. It to me, when I learned forgiveness, it helped me be more appreciative of others that have made me maybe hurt me in some way at some point. Because when I realized that I, in fact, when I hurt someone or maybe treated them unfairly, I often didn't do it with malice. It was maybe a judgment at the time. And I thought maybe I was helping them by speaking a truth, not their truth, but a truth. And so when I realized that forgiveness was going to help me in situations where maybe I shouldn't judge, maybe I shouldn't think poorly of that person, it helped me to realize that if I can forgive them, I can surely forgive myself. What happens when you forgive yourself? When you're practicing forgiveness, you're going to start that process of vibrating at a higher frequency. And what will that do for you? You will feel that inside. And any stuck words that you have in yourself that are negative, it could be, I loathe myself, I don't like myself, I didn't do that right. When you start bringing in that positivity into yourself, those are very high vibrating words. They will actually vibrate the lower words out of you. So pretty soon you're going to have space to fill it up with love, with joy, with kindness. Anything positive you can think of to bring in to yourself is going to start raising your vibration. So what happens when you change your vibration and you start rising in frequency? Your life changes, and it changes very positively. You start seeing things different. You start seeing with your real eyes what's going on, and you start with kindness with people. You stop the judging. You strip off that ego. The ego is there for protection, but it also can build up on your heart to where your heart is just closed down, and you don't want that. And when you start with that vibration, you can peel away those layers that you've built up over a time. And I can honestly tell you, for me, this has helped me in so many ways. This has helped me be appreciative of people, things, places, animals. It's given me a new love for everything and helped me realize everything is sentient, everything has a vibration, and everything is alive. And what I do now, what my mission is to bring awareness to all these things, to help people understand that you're important, that you're worthy. And as I go along and help people with this, it can be baby steps or it can be really miraculous. But as I look back, even a baby step is miraculous because that means they're working on themselves. And I want everyone to remember, like I said, self-love is not selfish. Treat yourself well, pour into yourself, and when you do that, you can adequately pour into others. So thank you, Alette, for allowing me to share my message. It's one of great importance to me, and I'm so honored to be here.